Oh no. I was wondering if you could do.
Oh, that's just awesome. What did he do? That ought to be interesting.
They were talking about they think we play Link if we have a voice actor.
Link? Oh, from, oh yeah? What did he say?
He's like, hi, I think I play Link.
Okay, I'm going to see if I have Sonny Straight's phone number right now. I'm calling him. Do you want it? Fortunately, I don't. Fortunately for him. What's that? Well, you know what? Sonny has such an awesome, he's such a great voice actor, and he's so awesome. I mean, I absolutely love him as Hughes. Let's see, what would be my impression of Sonny? The only thing I can think of is... What? Krillin. I don't even know what Krillin sounds like. What does Krillin sound like?
I don't know.
I don't know. All I know is, hey, have you seen a picture of my baby daughter? Isn't she cute? Yes. Oh, I would never even propose to compare the two. I love what I do, and he loves what he does, and I think we're both different. You know what I mean? We have different we have different strengths and weaknesses, and there's certain things that I might be cast in, and a lot of things that Sonny obviously is the best at. So, who's got a question? Yes. Tell you the dodgeball story? Has it been that long that people don't remember the dodgeball story anymore? Really? Okay, well, in a nutshell, several years ago, I was going to be scheduled to be a guest at a convention in Nashville, Tennessee. And so was Travis. And at that point in time, the Risen Bull Rangers were a fledgling new little group. And some girls had started a club for Travis called the Miniskirt Army. Well, there were an awful lot more Rangers than miniskirts, and that's because the Rangers are better. But the convention staff asked me if I would like to have some sort of a fun little competition between the two fan clubs at the convention. And I thought, well, that sounds like fun. What should we do? Maybe we'll have a karaoke contest. Maybe we'll play capture the flag. And then the greatest idea came into our minds: a dodgeball game. So they started advertising on their website dodgeball between the Rangers and the Miniskirts. And they had like 100 people show up for the dodgeball match. And 50 of them played for the Rangers, and they broke up into 10 teams of 5 people each. And we battled for hours. And I played on every Ranger team, and Travis played on the Miniskirt team. And when it was all over, the Rangers were handily victorious, easily crushing the Miniskirt Army. And so after the convention, I decided that I was going to write a song about it. And so I wrote this song called The Legend of Middle Tennessee, because the convention is called the Middle Tennessee Anime Convention. And it was very much like a Gilligan's Island kind of a story song, you know? Like, come on, gather around and I'll tell you this tale of dodgeball. And so it's on one of my CDs as well. That's a lot of fun. Question? Yes.
Are you working on any new CDs right now?
Am I working on any new CDs? That's a great question. Actually, I am. I'm working on, it's kind of funny. Do you remember what kind of music I said I wrote the most of when I was young?
Ballads?
Slow ballad, love songs, right? What's funny is that because I have tried to get away from just that style, all of my CDs are a variety of different things. And so I thought to myself, I should make a CD of love songs. Like the one thing that I did the most of, and I've never made a CD like that. So I'm working right now, and you know what I'm doing? I've been writing songs for like, oh my gosh, 30 years. Oh my gosh, 30 years. And so what I'm going to do is, I'm going to go back through my catalog of all the songs that I've written. And I'm going to pick like 5 songs from when I started, and then 5 songs from 10 years later, 5 songs from 10 years later, so that it'll be kind of like an anthology of all of these songs that I've written over the years. And it'll also represent like relationships and love that was lost, and you know what I mean, different experiences throughout your life that inspired me to write a song about it. But I'm working on that right now, so thank you for asking. I also even have a Christmas CD. A lot of fans wrote me and they're like, would you make a Christmas CD? And I'm like, really? Why? And they're like, well, because our family has the same 2 Christmas CDs and we play them every year, and we need new music. And I'm like, okay. So I wrote it, I put together a Christmas CD, and I've got that available as well. Yes?
Do you have any new voices you're going to be doing?
Oh my gosh, yes. And you know the worst part? I'm not allowed to talk about them yet. I can't tell you one. I actually finally got to play a role in Pokemon. You see, Pokemon is recorded in New York. So if you're not in New York, you're not in Pokemon. As are a couple of other shows. So a few weeks ago, I was at a convention in New York City, and I called Tom Whalen, the guy that's the director, and he and I have done some conventions together, and I said, Tom, I'm going to be in town for a few days, and he's like, well, why don't you come over and play some character on Pokemon? I'm like, okay. So I added an extra day onto my trip, and I played a character on Pokemon, so you have to watch one if you watch Pokemon. Also, there are a couple of other shows that I'm very excited about that I can't talk about yet, but I'm very excited. But the most recent ones, we finished Kaigi, which is on right before Full Metal Alchemist on Cartoon Network. I hope you'll check it out. I think they've started rerunning it, right?
Oh, they have?
I heard. You like it. I love that you like it. It's a fun show. Laura Bailey as Tokine, and Yoshimori, and my cute little spirit dog that floats along beside me. It looks like a giant sperm. Sorry, parents, that wasn't a sexual remark. That's a medical term. That's a biological term, sperm. It looks like it's this dog that has no legs. It has this really long pointy tail and the head of a dog. So I just call him Sperm Dog. And Troy Baker, who plays Sperm Dog, doesn't like that I call him Sperm Dog. And I'll even record lines. Hey, Sperm Dog! So that when he comes in to record, he gets my little Sperm Dog recordings. Also, we finished Vampire Night. I've heard there's more Hitalia coming that I'm excited to see. I've heard the grease actually does more than snore. So you can imagine, as a voice actor, we're looking forward to that. Question? Yes?
You just talked about needing vocal bombs for Troy Baker. Has anyone left vocal bomb for you that just cracked you up?
Oh, many, many times. Oh my gosh, yes. How many of you guys remember a show called Razafon? It's an older mech show. Well, I played this character named Mamoru, and all the way through the show, he's the best friend of the main guy. And then, toward the climactic ending of the show, you find out that Mamoru is actually this alien who's been posing as a human. And when you finally see him in his true form, he's wearing this skirt, like a dress. It looks like some kind of a Roman thing, you know, with the little bells around it and stuff. So like a toga. So when I went in to record, and I hadn't seen any of this, of course. So when I went in to record, the picture comes up on screen. I'm like, oh, what is my guy doing? And the director said, well, he reveals who he really is today. I'm like, cool. Who is he really? And he tells me a little bit. We get ready to record. And the first scene that I was doing was with Lucy Christian. And I'm getting ready to record my line, and they're recording, and I'm getting ready to record my line as Mamoru, and all of a sudden I hear Lucy Christian say, "Hey, Vic sure looks good in the dress!" And I'm like... And then, in Full Metal Brotherhood, I have to tell you about this. The girl that plays Alphonse, Maxie, she had already recorded. And it was the episode where Ed and Al are walking away, and Winry says something like, "Don't forget to come back, we're having stew tonight." Remember that? She yells out, "Don't forget to come back, Auntie Pinaco's making stew." And Ed and Al are walking away, and Al turns around, and he, like, let's say you're the camera. So they're walking away, and Al turns around and goes, "Yay, stew!" Right? 2 big flaps. "Yay, stew!" And Ed's, of course, like, well, when Maxie came in to record, she didn't say, "Yay, stew!"
Oh, God.
So I'm getting ready to record my line as Ed, and her line is right before mine, right? So I hear her line right before I speak. So it's like, boop, 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 and I'm supposed to say my line. So I'm getting ready to record, and right in the middle of me getting ready, boop, boop, I hear Maxie go, "Hell yeah!" Only she didn't say hell. She said the F dash word. Now imagine Alphonse Elric yelling that out. So that was a nice little bomb that somebody gave me. Question? Yes, sweetie.
Is there an anime you've ever wanted to do, or an anime you weren't cast for?
Oh my gosh, yes. She asked if there was ever an anime that I wanted to do or that I tried out for that I was never cast for. All the time. Yeah, all the time. I used to tell people that the roles that I wanted to play and I didn't get to, but then I thought to myself, and actually a friend pointed out to me, that to people listening, that could very easily be misinterpreted as me kind of dissing the people that actually did get cast. You know what I mean? And that would never be my intention. I would never want anybody that actually played a role that I wanted to play to think that I was kind of like, "Oh, they should have gotten that role," or "I should have." No, not at all. In fact, Todd Havercorn and I are good friends, and Todd has been cast in several roles, but Todd is awesome, and that we're good friends. So I would never want anybody to think, to think that I was putting down someone else's performance. But there are always those kind of shows that you try out for and you get, and then you don't get. That's just part of the job, Any actor, anybody in a professional acting capacity will tell you that rejection is a very, very big part of that career. For every one role you get, there are 15 or 20 maybe that you don't get. So, but like there are even a couple of series that I have talked about, like Sergeant Frog. I love Sergeant Frog. ATV in Houston had the license for Sergeant Frog, and I got cast as Sergeant Frog. I was playing Kororo in Sergeant Frog, and we recorded 15 episodes. We actually started the show. We were 15 episodes in. And then ADV had some difficult things happen, and they lost a lot of their licenses. Sergeant Frog was one of them. And the show went to Funimation, and Funimation completely recast it, and Todd got cast to play Kororo. So I always tease Todd about that. Like, "Stupid Todd, I wanted to play Kororo." But he's doing a great job at it. It's not to diss him at all. And how many of you guys saw Gurren Lagann on Personality? Well, that was another show that ADV originally had, and we had recorded 8 or 9 episodes, and I was playing Vero. And but then when ADV lost the license, the show went to Los Angeles, and they recast it, and that's just happens. That's the way it goes in this business sometimes. Question? Yes?
How many Roy dolls were destroyed?
How many Roy dolls were harmed in the making of this video? I should have put a little disclaimer at the end. No Roys were harmed. Well, maybe 3. I had 3. I had 3 Roy dolls, and of course the one, I saved the whole microwave scene to the very end, of course, because once you burn him, you can't really do much. The scene in the car at the very beginning when they drive off, well, those figures are stiff, hard plastic figures. They don't bend. So I literally had to cut Roy in half and stick him in to get him into the car. So like I cut him in half and then I glue him back together and throw him off the building, and I actually went on top. I mean, there's nothing special effect about that. I knew a guy who washed windows for the skyscrapers downtown in Houston, and he got me onto the roof of them. You can't just get onto the roof of a building, you guys, as you may or may not know. Especially with action figures and a camera. So I went up there and he got me onto the roof, and I mean, like, I actually and shot all that stuff right on the ledge of that building, and it was scary but fun. Yes.
What building was that?
What building was it? I don't know. You mean like what company was there? I don't know. It was just one of the bigger buildings in downtown Houston. I think there were like 56 floors.
Oh, wow.
And we were at the top.
Oh, wow.
I'm sorry? Great question. How many permits did I have to get? I didn't get any. Because as all guerrilla filmmakers know, it's always better to ask forgiveness than permission. You just do it, and you go, oh, I'm sorry, I wasn't allowed to do this, I'm sorry, and you leave, but you got the footage. So that's what we did. I mean, you know what? If I would have tried to have gotten permits, it would have never happened. Like when Roy got run over by the Mack truck. Well, that was like a real Mack truck, right? Well, how do you set that up? Think about it. I mean, you can't just put a Roy figure in the middle of the street and hope that a truck runs over it. You know, you can't sit there for 4 hours waiting for, and you know how many cars are going to go by before a truck comes by. Or what if the truck comes by and just it goes in between the wheels? He doesn't know what he's supposed to do. So you know what I did? I went up the street 2 blocks to a Home Depot, and there was a guy unloading his Mack truck there. I said, hey buddy, would you do something for me? I'm shooting this thing right down the street in front of Popeyes. And I said, I'll give you $50 if when you leave here, you drive down this street and run over this thing. And he's like, $50, okay. So I got his cell phone number, and I had him waiting to pull out, and once there were no cars coming, I ran out there and sat at the door, and I called him like, go, go, go! And I gave him the money, of course, already. And we were shooting like 2 different shots of him running over the thing, because you can't get a second chance at it. Because once he runs over it, I mean, he's just gone. He was on his way. So there were a bunch of fun little things like that. The little scene in the blender, you know who helped me shoot that one? Caitlin Glass, who plays Winry. She came down to Houston, she's like, I want to help you make one of these little Roy ones. And I'm like, why don't we make the blender one together? So we went and made that one together. Question? Yes? Is there any way you can see it again? You know what? I only show it at conventions. Someday, I tell you what, you know what? Just like Full Metal Fantasy, someday when I've shown them at enough conventions and enough people that are going to see them, get to see them, then I'll put them online and you guys will get to watch them anytime you want. Okay? Or maybe I'll even put them on one of my CDs as like a bonus, a bonus track or something. Yes? You first. Oh my gosh. My favorite, she asked me about the series, the anime series Air. Oh, that's such a beautiful show. I love that show. It is. It's so sad. I love shows like that. That's my favorite part. My favorite part is just, it was such a beautiful and well-written and great, compelling, sad story. I love those kind of shows. Lucy Christian was absolutely amazing in that show. Monica Rial was absolutely amazing. I love the little dog, Potato. I love Potato. He's so cute. And Tiffany Grant did the voice of Potato. And all the dog, in case you guys are wondering, what would the dog say? I mean, why does the dog have to have a voice actor? Because the dog, all over the time, he would communicate by saying, "Pico, pico, 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 pico." And that's all she ever said. But it was so cute. And she would run around and steal things, and you could tell how to chase her around. I love that show. Question? Oh my gosh. Yes. Yes, Broly.
What was your first impression of him, and how did you thought out about his character?
Well, my first impression of him was that he was large and lots of muscles, and he yelled a lot. And I didn't really realize how much he yelled until we started recording. And then it was like, holy crap, all this guy does is scream and power up and go Super Saiyan. And after only a couple hours recording Broly, my voice was shot. I mean, shot. So I loved playing the character, but it was really hard on the voice. It gave me all newfound respect for those voice actors that did, 300 episodes of Dragon Ball Z, and now they're doing Dragon Ball Kai, Chris Sabat, who plays Armstrong in Full Metal, and Kurogane in Tsubasa, and Piccolo, Vegeta in Dragon Ball Z. He always tells me he used to have a voice like mine. He's like, I used to have one of those high, youthful young voices like you, and now I sound like this. And he gets cast in all of these kind of characters all the time because of all the yelling from Dragon Ball Z. We have just a couple of minutes left. I know, right? But no, the weekend's just started. I'm going to be hanging out with you guys all weekend. So I will definitely look forward to seeing you at the panels. I'm going to be signing, I think, right after this. Is that right, Danielle? Where is that taking place? The Meadows? We're out in a meadow somewhere? Bring your insect repellent. Downstairs. Okay. I'm going to be signing right after this, and this is a great opportunity to get stuff signed and get some CDs before the rest of the people get here tomorrow, which will be a big day. Then I've got a little Star Trek trivia panel this afternoon. If you think, and I mean think, you can stump me with questions from the original series of Star Trek, bring it. And I'm so glad you guys are here. Thank you so much. I'll see you this weekend. Have a great day at the con.